If you're in a blended family, keep watching. Hi everyone, my name's Leah Boston. I'm an estate planning attorney and owner of Law Office of Leah Boston LLC. I draft wills, trusts, and I talk about long-term life care planning with people like you. On the topic of estate planning, I want to talk about blended families. Being that is kind of like the norm these days, it's so important that people that are members of blended families understand the complications and also the unfortunate decisions that happen when there is a lack of estate planning for blended families. Let's talk about it. I'm going to pose a quick scenario to you talking about John and Carol. John and Carol have both been married before. However, they've met each other and decided that they're in love and they're the ones for each other. And now John and Carol have gotten married. John has 2 children from a previous marriage, and Carol has 2 children from a previous marriage. John and Carol have decided to get married. In doing so, they've now both bought a home. Now, here in the state of Maryland, usually when married couples buy a home, the deed is usually automatically, unless it says otherwise, the deed is automatically a tenancy by the entirety. This means that 2 people who are married are now holding automatic transfer or inheritance rights to that property when the other individual dies. Let's talk about that further. John and Carol don't have any estate planning documents in place, and Carol dies. Because the home is owned by tenancy by the entirety, John now is going to automatically inherit 100% of that home. I know you're probably thinking, well, what about Carol's children? Even though Carol died, don't her children get anything? And that's where things get sticky, depending on what sort of documents were in place. For this example, like I said, Carol didn't have any estate planning documents in place, so now John is going to automatically inherit just by way of tenancy by the entirety, of course. So now John lives in the home with his 2 stepchildren and his children. The years go by, no estate planning is done, and John falls ill and dies unfortunately. Because John has passed away, and John passed away without any estate planning documents, now let's talk about who owns the home. Here in the state of Maryland, following the rules of intestacy, because John didn't have a will, his property is going to pass to John's children. I know you're wondering, well, what about Carol's children? Those are his stepchildren. Shouldn't they also get a piece of the property as well? Well, that depends. Here in the state of Maryland, stepchildren are not automatically included in an estate plan, which means you actually have to provide for them unless there are no blood lineal descendants. In this case, John did have blood lineal descendants, his actual children. So because there was an estate plan set in place, John and Carol getting married, they went and purchased a home. That home was now named tenancy by the entirety. Carol died. Her property interest was automatically transferred to John. And then when John died, because he didn't have an estate plan in place, ensuring that his stepchildren were cared for, now Carol's children are basically disinherited from having any sort of say in the home that they grew up in and they lived in. And now only John's children are going to be able to have any sort of inheritance rights towards that property. This is why it's so important, if you are a member of a blended family, to speak with an estate planning attorney, primarily if you're in the state of Maryland, to call my office, and let's get started immediately, because you don't want to accidentally or unintentionally disinherit your children. I hope you enjoyed this quick video, and I hope you actually learned something, and I hope this video got your mind thinking. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Otherwise, if you'd like to get started on your estate planning journey, especially if you're a member of a blended family, please contact my office at www.leahbostonlaw.com, and I'm happy to help get you started. See you in the next video. Bye.